Hey y'all, hey. I feel like my screen. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Hey y'all. So listen, if you have ever held back your thoughts, your ideas, your leadership voice because you feel like you hadn't earned the right to, or maybe you felt like you needed to be perfect and it wasn't perfect yet, this live is for you, okay? Because for one, your girl was there in negative thinking land about 2 weeks ago. And today I want to talk about reasons why we don't speak up and how we can work through that. But first, let me take y'all back to February, okay? Quick backstory. So, I am a part of a business group. There's a coach in this business group. And in February, he challenged us. He invited us to join this challenge of his where you would commit to showing up and doing something in your personal life or business life for 100 days straight. Now, first off, real talk, y'all, I was side eyeing him. I'm like, 100 days straight every day? But I knew that deep down, if I wanted to achieve next level success in my business, then I needed to get out of my own way. So I agreed to it. I agreed to posting YouTube shorts, a YouTube video on shorts for 100 days straight. Okay. So at the 50-day mark, I was back in the group. I was giving an update and I said, I made 50 days of posting on YouTube. And he was like, wow, I fell off on video. How are you doing that? So I said, well, I'm using this program called The Script, this, that, and the third. And it's helping me to be consistent. And so he says to me, oh, well, why don't you teach the group how you're using the script to post on YouTube and repurpose your content? And listen, y'all, that old familiar voice when someone challenges you yet again is rising. And so my voice of self doubt is like, girl, you're not a YouTube expert. You only got, I think I got about 300 followers. Half, 100 of y'all just subscribed within the last month. So, first, I'm like, I'm not an expert. And two, I'm like, who am I to teach anyone something that I'm still struggling with and still practicing? But I got out of my own way because I said, Candia, listen, the man ain't asking you to teach YouTube. He's asking you your system for posting on YouTube. So, anywho, last week, y'all, I delivered the presentation to my group. The responses are still coming in overwhelmingly positive. People said my class was brilliant. It was a master class and how you teach classes and all the things. And they felt more confident in using the script and showing up on video and all the things. And so this is why we're here today, because I want to take you through how I got out of my own way. And the number one reason why we typically don't speak in these instances is because you think you need to be an expert. And here's what I've learned: you don't need to teach it, you don't need to master it to teach it. One, a lot of the times, all you need to be is two steps ahead of someone to teach or share what you've learned. And the reality is, people don't require perfection, they require honesty. Just be honest about your process. And so I also wanted to share some affirmations that I have to say to myself just to get my mind right. One, typically I say, today I release the need to be perfect before I speak. Today, I will share what I'm living, not just what I've mastered. Because what often holds us back is the fact that we think we have to master something to share our success with others. You don't have to be at the mountaintop preaching. You can preach from the middle. Just be honest about that. People will respect you when you speak with integrity. And so, even throughout my class, I was very honest in sharing that one, I have a love hate relationship with social media. Okay. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. A love hate relationship, meaning just showing up consistently, having a fear sometimes of what people are going to say about me and this, that, and the third. All of those thoughts run through my mind. So I was very honest and transparent about working through those things. And just to share a reframe with you in real time, instead of asking myself, or saying to myself, who am I to share this, or am I qualified to teach this? A better question is, can I share this as something that I'm practicing, not perfecting? So in conversation, that may be, when I'm faced with getting out of my own way, something that I'm practicing are these affirmations. I may also say to myself, can I share this? And listen, I got notes for y'all, okay? So when y'all see me bending that and put my head down, this is a permission slip I had to give myself. Take notes, Candia, so you can say everything that you want to say. But anywho, can I share this as an invitation, not as a lesson? Can I share this as something that I've experienced, not that I've mastered? That takes the weight off of the pressure that we often put on ourselves to be perfect, right? So you really want to work on reframing these thoughts around, I have to be an expert, I have to be a master at it. No, you just have to be honest about your process and how you're showing up to people. People will respect you more for it. The second reason that we struggle to show up and speak up are assumptions. We assume the outcome of a conversation that you want to have, or an event that you want to attend, or something that you want to do. We assume a negative outcome. So we allow our assumptions to take us off our game. And here's the mindset shift that I want to offer you. The problem is not your assumption. The problem is the unchecked assumption. That's the problem. So oftentimes when I am leading a workshop with managers and executives, and we're having a conversation, even just yesterday, we're having a conversation about a difficult conversation that you need to have with your employee. And a leader will give me a round of assumptions about what they think that person is going to say. And I have to remind them that is an assumption. And oftentimes, where do our assumptions come from? From a prior experience with someone. Maybe it happened to your friend or another leader you know, and you think it's going to happen to you. Maybe you had those thoughts. So you have to learn how to self check yourself and recognize when you are making decisions off of an unchecked assumption. So free yourself. I always tell people, free yourself. And the way you free yourself is understanding that, one, confidence doesn't need certainty. Confidence does not require certainty. Once I freed myself from believing that I had to know all of the things, that I had to say all of the right things, once I freed myself from that belief, the game changed for me. And so, how can you free yourself from that in a real practical way? I always tell people, lead with curiosity. In conversation, that may be, let's see who we got on this live. Sherry, we got Sherry on this live. So in conversation, if I'm in conversation with Sherry and we're having a conflict, in conversation, that's going to be, Sherry, here's how I see XYZ. However, I recognize I don't know everything. How might you see things? So I'm opening the door to say, I'm confident in what I've observed and what I experience. However, I recognize I'm a human being and I have flaws, I have blind spots, and I don't know all the things. So let me leave just a little bit of that window open to hear a shift in perspective. So again, I go back to the reason why we're not speaking up is because we are spiraling into assumptions, and assumptions aren't the problem. It's our unchecked assumptions that are the problem. So you want to lead with curiosity by asking questions. You want to lead with curiosity by embracing confident humility. So Adam Grant calls this, he's coined the term confident humility. Well, at least I learned it in his book. I don't know if he coined it, but confident humility is just saying, here's what I know, here's what I've observed. However, I recognize I don't know everything. How might you see things? So it's opening the door to be wrong. When you can free yourself from being right at everything, the world is going to open up to you in a different way. When you can free yourself and saying, I'm okay with being wrong, or I'm okay with changing my mind. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm doing this live today, and next year or 2 years from today, Candia may pop up and say, you know what? I used to believe X, but I no longer believe that anymore. And I'm okay with that. And so a lot of the reasons, or some of the reasons why we don't speak up, is because we are spiraling into assumptions and we won't give ourselves permission to recognize, one, there's always a different perspective, there's always a different angle, there's always an assumption that is unchecked. And the only way that we can get through this is through our actions, right? Clarity comes from action, not thought. I don't know who said that. I got that from somewhere, but that's what we must recognize. And the third reason, when we think about this, the third reason why we don't show up is because we won't give ourselves permission. We're waiting for someone else to give us permission to show up and take space. My mindset shift for you around that is give yourself permission to be seen in progress. That's what I had to give myself permission. I had to give myself, when my coach asked me to do that training, I had to give myself permission to be seen in progress, in the middle. I haven't mastered this, y'all, but since I've posted these 50 videos on YouTube, here's what I've learned. Here are some things that I'm still figuring out. Here's what I've experienced. And so when you think about the permission slips, think about something that you want to do right now. What permissions do you need to give yourself? When I think back to posting videos on YouTube, I had to give myself permission to be imperfect. I had to give myself permission to wear the same thing every day, y'all. Because look, if you look at my YouTube shorts, you'll notice that there could be 4 videos in a row where I'm wearing the same thing. My negative or limiting thought was I have to wear a different outfit every single day. And I realized that if I put myself in a position where I had to do all of this bells and whistles and throwing on some makeup and wearing something different every day, I would not be consistent. So I had to give myself permission to show up imperfectly, to know that people may talk about me wearing the same outfit every single day. Guess what, Candy? Those ain't your people, and that's okay. And the reality is nobody cares. Because 3 of those videos that I was wearing the same thing are probably my highest views in the last, it's been 65 days, I think now, in the last 65 days. So nobody is thinking about you like you're thinking about you. So what permission slips do you need to give yourself? I also had to give myself the permission slip of, Candy, if you are going to record videos and show up consistently, then only give yourself 2 retakes, because sometimes that perfectionism will have you looking at a video and then next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I got a pimple here. Oh, my makeup look whack, or whatever the case may be. So, or, oh, I sound like that little Brooklyn girl and my accent is too strong. So I need to re-record that. And so I said, no, girl, we not doing all of that. We're going to give ourselves 2 retakes, record twice. And that second retake, you have to go with it. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck in place. All right. So what's some things we covered today? I hope this is resonating with y'all. 1, let's just work backwards. 3, give yourself permission. Think about that thing that you want to do, that conversation that you need to have. What is the permission slip that you need to give yourself to free yourself? And I would say this, make it crazy easy. Make it just, when it comes to achieving our goals, we have to, like I said, I had to give myself permission to show up on camera imperfectly. The second thing that we talked about is making sure your assumptions are not stopping you from having the conversation, from doing the thing. The problem isn't your assumptions. The problem is your unchecked assumptions. And so we know now, I've given you a framework or some conversation starters on how you can check your assumptions in a conversation in a positive way. Oh, and guess what, y'all? I got a cheat sheet for y'all. Where is it? Let me see. I got a cheat sheet for y'all. So all of the sentence starters and the affirmations that I've said on this live, I am going to include it in the chat. You can feel free. It's a freebie. Stick it up by your desk, okay? Because I want you all to know that you don't have to be perfect to speak. You don't have to. Perfection is a lie. The biggest gift that you can give yourself is the gift of imperfection, right? And so I want you to stick that cheat sheet that I've created for y'all with all of my affirmations, the things that I say to myself. I just did a workshop yesterday with leaders in healthcare. And the very same affirmations that I share with y'all on this live are the same affirmations that I say to myself before I take the stage or I take the room. And I want to share this practice with y'all because I think it's so important that you understand there's nothing outside of you that's going to allow you to show up as your best self. Everything that you need is within. So, what are the permission slips that you need to give yourself to get started? All right, y'all. I can't believe I've been running my mouth for 16 minutes, and I so appreciate y'all. There are two of y'all on here. I gotta work this YouTube live thing better because I can't see who the two people are. But anywho, I think I'm gonna make this a weekly thing. I don't know if it's gonna be Monday or Wednesday, but I'm working it out, y'all. Okay, bear with me. If you have any questions, drop down in the chat and let me know. I appreciate y'all for thugging it out with me. Talk soon.